I didn't have this on. Now you can hear me, right? Okay, okay, cool. I'll no 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Nobody ain't bother there. Okay, I'm gonna start this over again. I'm gonna have to do some editing. I'm gonna play over what Jasmine was particularly talking about as far as the psycho paralysis or whatever they was calling it. Basically, this disease that's in the food, that's in the fruits and vegetables, that's making everybody sick. Um, my kids came up to me and they were complaining about Burger King, or they were complaining about uh, certain restaurants who I don't particularly call it lettuce. I just call it fake lettuce. Or they have fake lettuce in the food, just like they have fake meat, they have fake everything, right? So I mean, what it is, and I'll read it again. It's this article that I read, and it said, you know, it's making, it's sickening people in 31 different states, although the astronomical numbers of cases are likely underestimated. The disease, for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is not as reversed as it once was, and some people don't get medicine attention due to the fact that you have diarrhea. I mean, most of them will just send you home and just say, hey, just take some Pepto Bismol and you know drink some herbal tea and call it a day. Right? They don't pay attention to none of that. Uh, the extract source of the current uh, psychoparalysis outbreak is unknown, but but the parasite known as, I'm not even going to get into it, that causes this parasite, this disease that is causing the illness, has his has historically been found on certain fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and it's most seen in the summer months. Um, I would suggest growing your own foods, getting herbs from people that that you know you don't have to pay a high price for. That's the only thing I can tell you at this moment. People are trying to get you sick. People are trying to get you ill. Um, Most of this food is a killer anyway. So I suggest you be careful. I suggest you be careful. I suggest you be cautious. Now, I've been eating like crazy and I haven't gotten sick yet. So, but count your blessings. But I'm just gonna go ahead and replay what she was talking about. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not done so, become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Here, let me see if I can find. Yeah, taking a, as she would put it, taking a dump.
In so many ways right now. We can talk about gun violence, which I'll never want to talk about because our kids are being killed. And if you look at the numbers, I was to ask you and you decided you wanted to be honest. More children are killed in their schools because of gun violence versus children dying because of issues like this. If you tell the truth that gun violence is killing our children. You'd also understand the importance of making investments into things such as mental health. And when we look at the actual numbers as it relates to mental health and what these types of bills do to our children, Let me give you some facts because I don't want to operate on feelings. I want to operate on facts. Trans youth face some of the highest suicide risk of any other youth groups in this country. Nearly half of trans and non-binary young people seriously consider attempting suicide each year. The actual number is 46%, but I don't see y'all trying to propose anything to make sure that we can assist these children. Suicide actual attempts. We know that a study showed that 1 in 5 trans or non-binary youth have attempted suicide just in the past year of lifetimes. Up to 40% of transgender individuals report suicide attempts. And states that pass laws banning gender affirming care saw suicide attempts by trans increase by up to 72%. So if you want to protect children and youth, maybe consider what is actually happening. You are absolutely not protecting their mental health, and you're absolutely not providing mental health resources, because we know that Republicans hate to put money into mental health, but they blame every travesty that we see on mental health. We also know that measles, which unfortunately have started to kill children in this country because it's back on the rise, y'all haven't decided to have a hearing or pass a bill to make sure that we could eradicate measles, which was eradicated before the Republicans got back in control. TB is up. Whooping cough is up. Listen, Pramila asked earlier, why are we doing this? I can tell you, we're doing this because the midterms are coming. And you don't want to talk about the actual problems, because you guys are the ones that have caused the vast majority of the problems that we're dealing right now. If some people don't want to talk about measles or whooping cough, we can just talk about the fact that the vast majority of the country right now is scared to eat lettuce because they believe that they may start pooping and can't stop.
That's too funny. Okay, so first, I didn't need to talk about. I already talked about this already. I'm not, you know me and the whole transgender thing. I clearly, I clearly disagree with that, but I do agree with people getting health care. Now, no, I'll look at it in a minute. I'll look at. I ain't even bother to check it. I'm just going through a whole bunch of people been giving me the runaround on certain things I've been trying to look for. I mean, just giving me a whole bunch of phone numbers and stuff. I didn't get a chance to check it. But as it pertains to this, people should be allowed to get health care. I don't care what age, what gender, what anything. People should have the right to get health care. Now, what the Republicans are going to always lie their livelihoods on, put their hats on, is if it's not about gender, if it's not about illegal immigrants, it's about costs. It's about, we got to pay so much money every time the Democrats win an election. Every time the Democrats win an election, we always have to pay out of our pocket. Yeah, try not to cuss. Yeah, because basically you're making all the money. It's not going to affect you. All they're going to do is just take. All they're going to do is take 30%, depending on where you live. It shouldn't even affect you one bit. Nothing is going. Nothing is going to harm your bottom line. If anything, you should be proud of wanting to help those in need, but we all know when it comes to the United States of America, there's always a gender at play. And for those who have ears, let them hear. We all know what that agenda is. And if you don't know, don't hesitate to ask me.
Now, I didn't even know that this existed. But this is where we are at the point that y'all are so careless with who it is that runs the CDC, and y'all are so reckless that from our farmers and ranchers not knowing whether or not their cattle is going to survive, or literally people saying I can't eat the berries and the salad because I may not be able to get out, kind of how most Americans feel. We are in a very pooing place right now in this country. In all seriousness, though, we got a lot of things that we could be solving. And I can guarantee you, if you go knock a door right now and ask your constituents whether or not they want to be concerned about Ebola, which has come back around again, or whether they want to be concerned about the fact, because of Elon and his recklessness as it relates to USAID, we know that there is an increase in HIV globally right now. I can tell you that there are some medical conditions that people care about in this moment. The fact that cancer research dollars have been cut. There's a lot that we could be doing, and I would really want to engage in a real conversation. But going after trans children is just a campaign spiel for you because it has worked in the past. But I can tell you right now that the American people understand that y'all are not serious people in this moment. And therefore, the midterms are coming. And the Democrats, we gonna talk about this pooey situation that y'all got us into.
That's how you hold people accountable. Is to let them know that you have put the American people in a crappy situation, if you will. Um, yeah, a crappy situation. Well, let's go back a couple of presidents. One, you had Sleepy Joe in there. I don't take a liking to old Sleepy Joe, but at least he's done some things that are very, very questionable, and he's done some things that are actually, you know, political worthy. Uh, Donald Trump. Do I have to explain it? The man is just all for himself and put us in a very poopy situation with the war in Iran. The control of dollars and putting them in the hands of terrorists, putting them in the hands of you know, his billionaire buddies, putting the money in the hands of the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, that those particular families that he wants to so desperately be. Um, the list goes on and on and on. Plus, uh, I mean, of course, he had to. I forgot to mention that he had to get some of the money back when it comes to these tariffs. That if you didn't forget that the terrorists, some of the terrorists that came back, and for those who like Canada, for instance, he had to pay some of these people back their money, and because he charges a high price, and the Supreme Court justice told him that he is not to partake in any of that money. He is not to partake in any of these particular things that is quite questionable and illegal. But of course, when it comes to white privilege, um, well, he can do anything he wants, and it all goes back to the Supreme Court, who put this fool in. Well, I'm sorry, who gave this foolish boy, this foolish orange man, more power, and he charged another 15%. Um, Now let's move forward, or let's move backwards a little bit more. George Bush, George Bush, Bill Clinton, and the list goes on and on and on. Can you name any judge that did not put us in a pooey situation? I'll wait.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Arizona is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, just to point out that TB, measles, and whooping cough, those are coming back as communicable diseases at a high rate. Why? Because under the previous administration, 20 million illegal aliens crossed this country, many who were sick, many were ill. Yeah, check it out. Don't be dumb. It's real. Okay, the radical left's gender ideology experiment on American.
Committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Arizona. You had your 5 minutes, or if you haven't, I'll make sure you get it, but the gentleman controls the time.
Sure is fun when they don't like to hear the truth, isn't it? Radical left's gender ideology experiment on America's children has gone too far. It's time we held them accountable. For years, so-called gender specialists and activist clinics have pushed dangerous puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and mutilating surgeries on children in the name of affirmation.
Oh, I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. So you obviously know who this person is. You know who this person is. Okay, okay, cool. I don't know who these people are. I call them delusional people. Very, very delusional people. Um, they always blame, of course, they always blame the left. In my opinion, it's always a back and forth situation. You know, you always want to blame the left. The left wants to blame the right. And all this and all this. But Trump has, in my opinion, opened opened the womb to a lot of things. He has opened the eyes of many, many black people in this country. And he's also made me open my eyes to a lot of things, which what I don't understand is why people from the right still think that this person is worthy of his chair. Now, you don't forget, even Republicans are starting to drift away from Trump. But the rest of us, or the rest of them, they seem to have this parasite stuck to them almost to the point where they are threatening, allegedly threatening other people who they deem not worthy of this country. They always seem to threaten a lot of people who, if Donald Trump were king, if Donald Trump were Nebuchadnezzar, everybody knows who Nebuchadnezzar is. If Donald Trump were that guy and you did not bow to him immediately, I guess you would have been shunned and you would have been thrown in the I don't know, the fiery lake, the fiery cave, or whatever that was. Of course. And I would ask you, didn't don't we have enough problems in this country, like racism, sexism, pride, all these different things? And then now you got this knucklehead whose sole purpose is to just be rich. His sole purpose is to be rich. I'm surprised he's not in prison. I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked if if the Supreme Court, who is mainly, I would say, mainly responsible for him, by the way, for him having all this ability. I wouldn't be surprised if one day they just get tired of him and just take his and be like Thanos and just snap and take his powers away. But this is not about Trump. This is about Jasmine holding Congress accountable. Now, I don't know what particularly happened. Let me see if I get this back, because this foolish boar wants to tell a particular story that mainly has nothing to do with nothing. He likes to talk about, he wants, other than likes to talk about the 1%. So now that I got that back, let me see.
Saving care, they told the public.
Controls the time.
Sure is fun when they don't like to hear the truth, isn't it? Radical left's gender ideology experiment on America's children has gone too far. It's time we held them accountable. For years, so-called gender specialists and activist clinics have pushed dangerous puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and mutilating surgeries on children in the name of affirmation. They told parents it was life-saving care. They told the public it was settled science. They didn't tell the truth. This bill is personal. It's named for Chloe Cole, a brave young woman who was rushed into this destructive path as a minor by gender specialists promoting affirmation at all cost. She suffered permanent harm, and now she's fighting back, and so are we. The Chloe Cole Act gives victims and their parents a real private right of action to sue the doctors, hospitals, and clinics that performed or facilitated these experimental interventions on minors. It covers the full arsenal of so-called gender-affirming care. The bill is crystal clear. Sex is biological, immutable, and determined at conception. The bill draws a hard line: no more chemical castration and surgical mutilation of minors. It isn't about adults making choices. This is about protecting innocent children from barbaric, irreversible procedures pushed by a radical gender cult. This ideological butchery stops here. As a co-sponsor of the Chloe Cole Act, I stand with Chloe and every detransitioner demanding accountability. Protect our children, stop this madness, and deliver accountability for the victims. Mr. Chairman, I have several UCs. Mr. Chairman, I have several UC requests.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you. This is an article called "What I Suffered Being Transgender." I'm suing the people who did this to me.
Without objection.
UCLA student sues doctors, says she was fast-tracked for gender transition at age 12.
Without objection.
Article by Chloe Cole: the medical system pushed transgender surgery on kids. Now it's facing legal justice.
Without objection.
I just want to say that, like I said, the only thing that these people hang their hats on are people who view their lives a little differently than we do. I'll just put it in that light. How much of a percentage is that? Like 1.5%. I mean, how many people I'll say this again. How many transgenders are in basketball, football, track, soccer? How many transgenders do you see that exist today in women's basketball? Are you gonna see? I mean, it's highly unlikely, but are you going to see somebody who is 7 feet tall and look like this person can punch you in the mouth? I mean, are you going to get a swimmer? Are you going to get a wrestler who is 3 times as heavy as a woman? I mean, more than likely, no. You're not going to see that, even though I don't agree with that lifestyle. It's like, I haven't seen it in my lifetime. Okay. So, but these people who are what I would call Christian nationalists are taking it. That's not even right. That's not even a high percentage. It's not even in the high percentages, and these people are just straight stone scared that what if I found this person in the women's locker room? That's highly unlikely. I mean, the only time, but this is the reason why we have laws in this country. This is the reason why we have what's called unisex bathrooms. You have the women's bathroom, you have the men's bathroom, and then you have the unisex bathroom. It's kind of sort of made for families, but I guess you can use it for other means as well. But that's your go-to. If it's not illegal immigrants that supposedly are bringing diseases and famine and taking over your country with an automatic weapon, then you go shitty berserk. I wish George Carlin was. George Carlin is rolling in his grave right now because what he had stated was absolutely positively true. That America is nothing but a big, well, let me not go there. It's just a big polar pile of dookie.
Emily from Texas.
Mr. Chair, I have a number of you seized to the record. This is from Newsweek, July 10th, 2026. Trump's CDC stopped monitoring explosive diarrhea parasite before outbreak.
Objection.
This one is from the Texas Tribune. It is August 26, 2025. As measles exploded, West Texas officials looked to CDC scientists, that was the Trump administration, no one answered.
Objection.
The next one, CDC scientists, this is from the Washington Post. Texas measles outbreak response hurt by funding cuts, also Trump administration. The CDC is struggling to respond to the measles outbreak in Texas. The U.S. has reported more than 700 cases in 25 states.
Objection.
And I got a lot more of these. I'm gonna make this one the last one. USA Today on July 14, 2026, RFK's CDC, that's Trump's guy, cut back on parasite monitoring, then an outbreak expired. That's about the explosive diarrhea.
Doesn't that suck? But if it's not her, then somebody else is gonna follow up the rear because they don't like to listen to women, but they'll listen to someone who is dying on his or her deathbed, and they'll look to Obama and say that was his fault. Just saying. They'll just look to Obama and they'll look to his skin, and just like back in those days, how certain people often called our skin like a rare disease, and we were suffering what was called nigritude. That if you touch me, then you'll suffer dire consequences or some stuff like that. Then anybody with a third grade or anybody who was in my era or was in the baby boomer area knew about the syphilis, or what was it, the syphilis experiment? How they put us all in one room and started experimenting on our melanin. Now I feel that this way, that this same disease is killing our insides. I guess this is one of the reasons why Louisiana wants to get back segregation to the things where it once was. so they don't have to go through all this famine and stuff like that. Which one? Yeah, look it up. But you gotta tell me what I'm. But you gotta tell me what you're looking up. You gotta tell me what you're looking up because that this. I'm just telling the truth. If you add it up, all you gotta do is just add it up. It's not rocket science. All you gotta do is just add up what these people are literally trying to do. From redistricting and maps, um, but about testing our melanin. Why do you think, okay, this Tuskegee experiment? Yes, I think that's what it is. The Tuskegee experiment. How often? How this what do I want to name it? I'm blanking out. But okay, let me put it to you this way. Why is it that white folks get so aroused when it comes to killing a black man, and I'm trying not to be graphic here. I'm really trying not to be graphic. But we're all grown adults here. Why do you think that back in those times where capital punishment by either humiliation or death to these people, when it came to us, that they made our skin, they took our skin and they made these specific things when it came to our skin. But when it came to us, when they needed a limb, it came to us. When they needed a transplant, how these young black boys get taken away, or get snatched off, and their parents had to identify the body that day, and the only thing that was in this boy's insides was a thing of newspaper, because they took their limb, they took their spleen, they took their liver away from them. Now, it's not just war that makes money. It's not just drugs that makes money. It's this harvesting that makes money. It's not just the political side of things. You got to look at it a whole. You got to look at it a vacuum as a whole. And this is what I said. I asked way back. I said, "Is this political, or what is it about this thing that's making white folks crazy? That's making white folks go wild?" Trump will never be satisfied. He will never be fucking satisfied. But it's the other element of it. It's these other people who literally look at us as a piece of meat. And this is the reason why they're going off at immigrants. But they will never tell you what immigrants that they're talking about. You're talking about Africans, you're talking about Hispanics, you're talking about Asians. Asians don't have no melanin. They don't. But let me go back real quick to the LGBTQ community. Um, I don't have an issue with them, but I do warrant that they go to Washington. They go to Washington and they go and they poo poo on the White House lawn. They just go poo poo and they and I mean, of course, you got that agenda going. But didn't I tell you they were on the boat and they stopped at a Muslim country? I think it was Egypt. They stopped in a Muslim country, and these people tried to get off the boat, and the Egyptians said, "No, you better take your little fruity pebble ass back on." Oh, sheesh, sheesh. Well, that's the sidebar. That's the sidebar. Again, I don't particularly have a problem with those, but again, going back to healthcare, everybody should earn healthcare. Yes, the snowmen. Yes, the snowmen. But at any rate, we danced around this long enough. Um, Going back to the meeting of James Tellerico. Now, this man, I have no issues with James. I have no issues with Mr. Tellerico because Mr. Tellerico, to me, is a good guy. However, um, there's some, a bit of issues there that we'll just put on the back burner for right now because I'm really trying to stay political here. What I was saying about healthcare was what I was saying was what the guy was illustrating. I don't know. You mentioned them earlier. I was trying to illustrate that everybody needs healthcare. Healthcare meaning if it helps your mental, if you have a mental health issue and you're committing suicide, that's a problem here in America, isn't it not? If you have an issue, period, with mental health, again, she should have just mentioned, Jasmine should have just mentioned everybody, not just gays or whatever. She should have just mentioned everybody. But I understand what she was saying. I understand completely what she was saying, what she was talking about. But however, you still have your elderly out there, and your elderly has to pay a certain price tag, a premium of medicine that they have to take. And depending on who you are, you can't pay for that medicine. So you have to go on what's called, I did have my wallet with me, somewhere in RXT to get a certain percentage, a certain a discount on your medicine. Yes, a problem everywhere. It's a problem everywhere. But again, we got Republicans who want to be jackasses. So, and this is the reason why November is important now. Speaking of which, getting back to Tellerico. Tellerico was at a town hall meeting, mostly with black people, and black people were putting them to task. Black people were definitely putting this man to task and, holding him accountable and everything. And told his, he finally stepped up to the plate and told his, now I don't know if it was sincere. I don't know if it was sincere or not. We will see. But he basically told his followers, if you are a supporter of me and you are a supporter of the cause, you will get this woman's name, meaning Jasmine Crockett's name, out of your mouth. Meaning he was talking to Keith Edwards and all these other crony ass white boys that merely come on and just spew hatred on Jasmine, calling her a celebrity that she doesn't necessarily belong. I'm like, Jesus Christ, where do these people come from? Where do these people come from? Remember that ice cream for my leg, and the cost was too good, Lord Jesus. Yeah. Wait, for what? Ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. But where does that money go again? You collecting it is illegal enough, but where does that money go again? Where does that money go? We would like to know. They changed my schedule that my meds fell under. It went from 7, 8 per month, 7, 8 per month for years to nearly 100 per month. Um, the economy is going to have to collapse. The economy is going to have to, basically, we're going to have a restart. But by the time we have a restart, I don't know, it might be too late because AI would have had operated at 100%, meaning there are no jobs for up and coming people. As a matter of fact, most of your jobs would have been taken away. Um, so we got more problems coming up the hill. It's bad enough that you have these uh, people in Congress who are passing certain laws, and they're passing certain laws and making this dude that's in the White House that believes that he's something that he's not, which I don't want to emulate what that is. And of course has a statue of is the dude's horrible. He is horrible, but he's not the one that I'm mad at. He's not the one that I particularly. I just like getting on him just for the fun of it. But it's more to it than Trump. Trump is just the face, and he's following a certain script. Whatever script that these people are giving him, he is following it, and he is following it to the T. Now, I don't know what happened to the teleprompter, his last meet. I don't know what happened with that, but nearly he's just reading off of a script. I had no idea this thing. What did he say? A long time. These people, they're terrible. They're just freaking terrible. They lied to you, and they freaking lied to you, and there should be no voting in mail-in votes. No voting in mail-in votes. Even though I did a mail-in vote, there should be no more mail-in votes. It's these people, they hijack you, and they try to take away your elections, just like Sleepy Joe tried to take away my election, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We should all come together as one. We all should all come together as one. But Barack Hussein Obama, he did this to me again. He's gonna take my election. He's gonna take my election, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to take it, and he's going to take it, and he's going to smear his shit all over my campaign, and we can't have that. We certainly can't have that. But these people in Iran, they're useless. They're useless. I don't want to negotiate anything with them. I don't want to negotiate nothing. I I just want to just move on forward, and the negotiators, oh God bless them, they don't want to negotiate with them either. So we're just gonna do what we got to do, and if they attack us again, we're just gonna have to attack them back. Attack them back in the best way that Americans do. Which is what, by the way? Oh, and by the way, that's three more soldiers that you could have easily prevented their deaths. Three soldiers, three more soldiers. You could have easily prevented their deaths. But I digress. So we're gonna go to the next one. See, I didn't even see this. This is probably new coming up. What's this? Oh, Jasmine. Hi.
Amendment and voting against this bill. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentlelady from Texas is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And this amendment specifically, as it goes back to what my colleague was just saying, it's about these Amazon warehouses. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about sanctuary cities and blue states and red states and things like that. But I want to tell you the story of a town by the name of Hutchins. In the town of Hutchins, there was a proposal for ICE to purchase a building that was 1 million square feet. It was a warehouse. It had previously been utilized specifically by Amazon. And the Department of Home.
And by the way, I don't know what this whole issue is with Amazon. People want us to boycott Amazon, Target, and Walmart. I was like, okay, where are you going to get your supplies from? Where are you going to get your supplies? Where are you going to get your toiletries? Where are you going to get your food, your fruits and vegetables? You can't go to Whole Foods because Whole Foods is expensive. So where are you going to get your stuff from? You're talking about boycott. You can't boycott really anything until you get your stuff up off the ground. Does that make sense? You're boycotting. I could care less about Target. I don't shop at Target. I got one or two things from Target, and that is it. I don't shop at Target at all. But I do go to Walmart, and I do to get some things at Walmart. I do go to my local grocery stores, and I shop there. We have nothing. So you're basically boycotting part of yourself. I don't know. I really don't know. I had to ask Reese Waters. I was like, what the hell is going on? Let me continue.
Homeland Security and ICE considered the site to convert it into a massive detention facility, which would have held roughly 9,500 to 10,000 individuals, far exceeding the small town's population of around 6,000 people. In the following weeks, the people rose up and the people decided that they were going to push and use every tool in their toolbox to make sure that this ICE facility did not go through. The town of Hutchins is actually in Texas 30. And I do want to applaud not only the people of the town of Hutchins, but also my elected officials on every single level that worked together to make sure that that was shut down. But let's talk about what this is really about. And I know y'all knew it was coming, especially once I showed up. It's racist. It's just racist, 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 okay? Now let me tell you why it is racist. All right? This ain't about whether or not you're concerned that the immigrants kill everybody. That is not what it is. It's not. It's the things like what you're fearing, they're poisoning the blood, okay? What this is about is racism. Because the last time I checked, supposedly this administration, not even just this administration.
Hold on. Did you just say Kroger's? What is wrong with Kroger's? I've been shopping at Kroger's for years. What the fuck is wrong with Kroger's? I don't know anything about Safeway, Piggly Wiggly. Oh, Piggly Wiggly. Know too much about Pig. Phasers. I don't know any of those. All I know is Kroger's. Why Kroger's?
Let me just be clear. Your president, he is the one that said white South African refugees needed their own, and so therefore that he would raise the cap on how many refugees could come into the United States, but it was only raised for white South Africans. The administration set a limit of 17,500 slots, plan to admit more white South Africans as refugees this year.
I remember watching CNN late night. This white woman had the nerve, the illegated gall. See, this is the I want to say the arrogance of these white folks. She had the nerve, the illegated gall to say that South Africans are Africans. I said, and the brother that was sitting right next to her, the brother that was sitting right next to her was like, huh? I was giving you suggestions on other stores to shop. I usually, that's cool because I usually shop at Smith's, my local grocery store. Yeah, but you know, Albertsons is not cheap either. But I try to go where the quality food is. But the more you go to the quality store, where I live, the quality stores are in my neighborhood. But I'm never going to go as far as 10 miles out to, let's say, if they have a Whole Foods there. And we all know that Whole Foods is very expensive, but they also have other stores like Albertsons whose, excuse me, foods are in the high peninsula, right? They're high up there in price, but it's quality. And some of them do have Kroger brand. Some of them are Kroger. Some of these products are Kroger brand. And there's nothing wrong with Kroger brand. Nothing wrong with Kroger brand. Just want to let you know they are sort of blue body. Wait, they are sort of? You gotta give me more. You gotta give me more information than that, Barb. You gotta give me a little bit more information than that. Cause I shopped at Kroger's and god dang it, they've always been good to me. They have always been good to me. But anyway, yeah, this white lady had the nerve to say that she is the white South Africans are really Africans. Just like the blacks are Africans, and just like the whites are Africans, we are all one. And it was like, what? Even though there was a white lady there, and it's like, you are embarrassing us. You want to kick all these people who don't have your color. Can we keep it a bean? Can we keep it a bean? You hate black people. You hate people who aren't considered black, who aren't considered African. Black people, you hate them that much that you will cause a ruckus, even sacrifice yourselves. South Africans are Africans, sorta. No, 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 no. Elon Musk does not fit that bill. No, I will not allow it. N-O, ma'am. N-O.
So here's the point. Every time I see these images of these officers who obviously are completely incompetent, none of that money that has been given to ICE has been given so that they could be trained up and know how to do the daggone job. Seems like they are specifically targeting people because of how they look. In fact, earlier, one of my colleagues from across the aisle was talking about, let's not forget our history, as he quoted the history of how his family came in. And I guess he was trying to say they came in the right way. Let me be clear about something. The people that were here are the indigenous folk. And you know who ICE been rounding up? They've been rounding up indigenous people. The people that originally came, not the colonizers, but the original people. So what this is about is whiteness. Everything that this administration has pushed has been about white supremacy, your fear. In fact, you say things like, oh, you just want them to come in so that they will vote for you, because we know that when you look at the numbers, I mean, I'm just being real with this, but white people, they're not the ones that carry the Democrats. They aren't. And so this is literally about, you say things, you tell on yourselves. You believe that somehow they will be citizens and they will start voting in the interest of equity. Those are the things you fight against when you say no diversity, equity, and inclusion. You want to sit up here and act like the crime is being perpetrated by people of color, but the statistics say otherwise. If you look at the real numbers, I know that y'all believe in propaganda and y'all don't want people to know the truth, and y'all definitely don't want them to know history, because then you got to, again, acknowledge colonizing. But nevertheless, when you look at the numbers, you want to tell me about one-offs. And listen, as a criminal defense attorney, I have represented people of all colors. Let me tell you, anybody can commit a crime on any given day.
The one thing that Jasmine Crockett needs to know, the one thing that Jasmine Crockett should realize, I don't think she does or she doesn't, I'm not sure. They don't care. They got there, and this is the reason why they're trying so hard, and they're trying to do all these loopholes, and they're looking through every law in the catalog, every law in the book, and trying their damnness not to let this election go astray. Because let's just face it, Ken Paxton shouldn't even be there, but he is. Trump shouldn't even be in the position that he's in, but he's there. They just don't care. And this is the reason why our voices need to be lifted up. Our voices should be lifted up, and our voices should be lifted up. Our voices should be heard. Also, we should be doing more than our fair share to making sure that our communities are rebuilt. We need to separate some of these. First of all, we need to get rid of the coons in our neighborhoods. Let's just say that. Rebuild our neighborhoods, rebuild our communities from within, get rid of the bad element, and start getting that money in. That's the number one problem in the black community today is trust. Because we're going through all this freaking tribalism thing. But for a person, let's just say I'm going to use Tellerico as an example. For a person like Tellerico to come in and say what he needed to say, and with the black woman basically blasting him and saying, I'm doing this for my people, I'm not doing this for you, blah 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 blah. I say this. When a person like Tellerico coming in is like, why should we vote for you? Because you're never going to let a black woman in. Let's just face it. You're never going to let a black woman in. You're never gonna let a black man in the White House ever again. It is not gonna happen ever again. Where Obama started is where Obama ended. I'll say it again. Where Obama has started, Obama has ended it. Meaning there is never going to be another black president as long as we live. Because we did not hold that man accountable. There ain't never going to be another one like it. So if you want to do something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Do something for your communities. Do something for yourself, damn it. And stop with this tribalism stuff. Now, when it comes to the political field, they could care less about you. You might as well be hooking up with the Hispanics. You hook up with the Hispanics and see what you can come up with then. But I'm telling you right now, it is not going to happen ever again. It's just not. Why would they let another black man in office and then people who put him in office live to tell about it? Some of these people are still pissed off that he even existed in the White House in the first place. Which I knew something was wrong his first term when you had 12 Republicans and only one Democrat supporting him. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong when they had a white, and they literally had a white, well, I don't even want to talk about that. I knew something was wrong when he distanced himself from his old pastor. I was like, I knew something was wrong when not Ricky Smiley, what was his name? It wasn't Ricky Smiley, it was, I think it was Ricky Smiley at that point. But anyway, but you had people who met with the man first, and it was like, yeah, they got his attention. They literally got his attention, which he specifically didn't do a goddamn thing. He didn't do a freaking thing. But some of these people, they're convinced that he has done enough for American people. But why is Trump? But my question is, it's not about him. Why is Trump so mad? Why is Trump so mad at him? Why is Trump alienated him and his family? See, I may be mad, I may be upset at Obama, but the one thing you will not do as a white man is you will not come after are people like that. The only person that should be incriminating Obama is me. I should be the one incriminating Obama, not some German, half American speaking immigrant who shouldn't even be in the White House. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
The idea that you put a white sweeping brush on everybody, a little bit of melanin, as a criminal, that is to represent somebody. You should be understanding that it's to fight for everybody. And what makes this country great? I'll yield.
Time is up.
Gentleman from Maryland. I think she's from, oh, the gentleman from California.
Gentleman from California, recognized.
Okay.
I like these people. I do not like these people. At some point, you got to be held accountable for everything. I just do not like these people. It's just something about Congress I just don't like. And it's very, very hard to try to keep it in the political realm, because everything is just racially motivated. How often do you address white supremacy? Never. There's no other people in the race in this country that is going to, who has addressed white supremacy. Why are you yelling at me? Let's see what my lovely sweets has to say. You always down over. I have a right to. I voted for the man twice. Anybody who if I didn't vote for you, there's a reason why. But as a young lad, and I was young, I was in my late 20s. And I was like, yeah, we in there. I seen the man. I was like, yes, I seen him up close and personal. I'm rooting for him and everything. I was stupid up here because I didn't know anything about politics. But somebody had to remind me of who this Negro was. And I'm like, you can't be serious. And so I looked it up. I looked up, it's like, so he's not interested in an apology for slavery? Interesting. He's not for reparations? Interesting. His father was a Kenyan. He never knew his father? Interesting. So I read more into it, and I'm like, yeah. And also he's relatable to, I'm not gonna even say it. I'm not gonna even say it because that's your man. That's your man. That is your man. I mean, we're never going to. We're going to agree to disagree. But if I had a gun to my head, it was like Trump or Obama. It'd have to be Obama because I don't want to commit suicide or commit genocide. I'll just pick Obama and hope for the best. Wait, if you believe that what you say, why are you advertising? And you keep asking me that question. You keep asking me that. Maybe it's because I'll say this. Jasmine is way better, in my opinion, than Obama would ever be. And let me add to that. Did Obama even endorse Jasmine? And mind you, they're both Democratic. They're both from the same party. Hmm. I was hoping, for black man for a black woman that you would, but nah, that wouldn't even fly. That wouldn't even fly, not one bit. Don't you don't you say blacks won't want reparations? What? Reword that. What? Wait, let me read that. Let me read that again. Don't you say blacks won't get reparations? Am I saying it, or are you asking me? Did I say it, or are you asking if others are saying it? I want to get that clear before I go further. I want to get that clear. Are you asking me, are not getting reparations? Are you asking me that, or are you asking if others are saying it? Because if you're asking if others are saying it, then yeah, you already know you have three nations, you have three countries already saying that you're not going to get it. You already got three countries saying that you're not going to get it. If you're asking me, I say you're not going to get it because number one, you don't even know who you are. You're too tribalist. You are too into that tribalism shit. You got one group of people wanting reparations. You got another group of people wanting reparations. They ask you what you don't even know who you are. You can't even trace your if even when you do necessarily trace your ancestry back to uh back to say the 1700s or whatever, or when you trace your lineages back to where your grandfather fought in the Civil War, which is all fine and dandy. But then when they look at you, it's like, why are you collecting this? It's like you have nothing to no common grounds with those individuals, because even though they are your kinfolk, you didn't do anything to sustain what they had built for themselves. You didn't sustain that. As a matter of fact, there were black businesses in abroad. You sold them all. Bob Johnson sold BET to Viacom, didn't he not? Everything that was in your grasp, you sell for money, which don't even earn a lick of interest. Don't even earn a lick of interest. I had too many arguments about reparations with some of these people, and it's just dead at this point. It's dead because number one, you don't believe in revolution. You don't believe in getting along with people that you have these fake issues with. Let me explain a little something to you in further detail. Immigrants are not your issue. Immigrants, whether they come from the African diaspora, whether they come from Haiti, whether they come from Jamaica, whether they come from Britain, China, wherever, when it came to your melanin skin, these people are not your issues, but you keep procrastinating as if they come to this country and they bother you. Bother you how? These people want nothing to do with you, man. We built this country. We built. your ancestors built this country. Yes, my grandfather, my great great grandfather were in the U.S. military. Yes, they were. But I ain't proclaiming, I'm not claiming anything because I have not earned anything. If anything, if we were to give reparations, it's going to the next generation. It's going to go to the next generation, not us. What do we own and control systematically in this country? Not a goddamn thing. We own nothing. Nada. Dinero. Zilch. Because you, number one, you got too many coons on that particular side tattletelling. I want to get, we get along to get along. White people want nothing. This is not Jim Crowism. Jim Crow was dead. Jim Crowism was back then. It's not now. How do we know all this? Why the next generation? What do we own and control? Better yet, what have we done other than argue with ourselves? But then the next country, was it Ghana? I think it was Ghana. Ghana had that right because of what happened then with them. But then these black Americans say, well, they're the ones that enslaved us and all the blah 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 blah. First of all, get your history straight. Get your history straight. Do you know how many tribes are in Africa right now? You have to figure out what tribe sold you down to the highest bidder. You didn't think lands were fighting with you didn't think other tribes and other cultures were fighting with each other back then, and they sold you out for guns and oil. But how do you know they didn't get the short end of the stick? How do you know? And I know slavery is wrong, but their version of slavery is not the same as the Europeans' enslavement. They had this person, I think his name is Willie Lynch, and he showed the slave masters what it meant to become a slave master. But for years and years and years and years, and mind you, there was a couple of times where you could have got reparations, but you just folded at that moment. There were a couple times in the 1900s that these people there was a certain person or persons who was planning a back to Africa movement, but you wanted to stay here in the United States. So until you can figure out what you want, until you can stop being so damn racist towards yourselves, until you stop this tribalism shit, you're not getting anything. As a matter of fact, there's not too many people of you. The only people who are worthy of getting reparations are Pan-Africans, not FBA and not AOFs, not FBA and not ADOFs. Not FBA and not ADOS. Certainly and definitely not ADOS. I've got reparations buying a couple of houses. Do you own the land? Well, well, shut up. You don't own anything. You may own your house, you may own a car, but you don't own land. You don't own property, which gains in property value. It gains substance. A house, I can literally sue. I can literally sue you. I could literally sue you. I can literally break into your house, sue you, and take your house and the property on top of that. And this is the goofy thing about laws in this country. You don't even want to change the laws. You don't understand or equivocate what laws are in the books, what laws can be used to sustain your ability in life, and more importantly, you don't study. You do not study. The people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they knew law. Medgar Evers, he knew law. But you had an issue with Malcolm. You called Malcolm a traitor. You called Malcolm and Martin a traitor for talking with the Ku Klux Klan. They talk with the Ku Klux Klan for a reason, my guy. Is to make them understand what blackness is about. They were gaining power while they were losing it. And they were strengthening. That's the same thing as saying, that's the same bullshit as saying is like, why would you talking to Fidel Castro? Fidel Castro was helping them with that, with that health care. But you don't understand how allies work, do you? I guess you need to start reading that book, Shanzun, The Art of War, how certain things work. Not everything has to be addressed loudly. You need to be seen and unseen. Who laughs last, laughs best. You own nothing. And these are people going back to Congress. This is the reason why people act like this. Is because whenever Jasmine speaks, she's the only one in the room speaking. Nobody else. In other words, when she speaks, people listen, but they automatically tune out. They automatically tune out because number one, this is the reason why they complain about her so much, because she's too loud. She doesn't, as Lisa put it, follow a certain script. She doesn't follow a white man or a white woman script, even though white women get disrespected not just as much, but more than enough times. And this is the reason why they want to take away the 19th. They want to abolish the 19th Amendment, because they believe that women as a whole talk too damn much. I mean, it's not just the 19th. It's not just the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, the 22nd Amendment. They want to get rid of the 19th Amendment. She is the loudest one in the room and the most disrespected in the room. But everybody loves James. Everybody loves James Tellerico. You can't hold anybody in Congress accountable for what they do because they feel that in their heart of hearts they're doing the right thing. But if something were to happen to them, oh, we need to find a solution. Why can't we work together to find a solution to get my little Barbie out of jail? Why we got to do things? Why we got to keep doing things for you? You know what? I could use a sermon. I could definitely use a sermon right now. But yeah, things are gonna be looking on the up and up come November. Now, again, if James Tellerico loses, we're gonna look at the percentages. And we're gonna look at the percentages of how many white votes, how many Hispanic votes, to how many black votes that he had collected, that he had earned. And he has 4 months left. So let's see if if he finally have gotten their attention. We will definitely see. But I do appreciate him. I do appreciate him doing what he did. And that is not only talk to the people, but address the things that these people were saying about Jasmine. I do appreciate it. Hell, I might want to interview him like Roland Martin interviewed him. But I'm not, I haven't voted for him. I voted for the other person. I know. I asked him. Asked what? What are y'all busting my chops about? What's going on? What is going on? Y'all always like this. Like, y'all get the knives and the forks out, and you go, we gotta carve old lock out. Oh boy, who is it? How are you doing there?
Oh, I'm fine. Just a minute. Because these. Yeah, these black conservatives doing the massive Trump dance. Oh yeah, all these black conservatives doing the black conservative dance. They don't know how to think themselves for themselves. All they do is
Oh,
wanna kiss his ass. Woo!
no, you
And
are
it's
not.
hard to say what these black conservatives say. All they wanna do is just kiss his ass away. Oh, I am doing the master Trump dance. Oh, I am doing the master Trump dance. I know I speak for myself and everyone because am a no master Trump supporter. And we are doing the master Trump dance. We're doing the master Trump dance. These black conservatives are so stupid. But all I know, I can't believe in myself when I get through this mess I'm in. And I just want to do the master Trump dance. I know there's a pot of gold for me. All I gotta do is just believe myself. Oh, I know I do believe in the master Trump dance. I know why I'm doing the master Trump dance.
No,
Oh, I'm so
are
happy
you seriously
doing the
doing this?
master Trump dance. They are so happy. doing his back to Trump dance. Oh, whoa, whoa, what for me? Gonna famous words of Captain Murtaugh. I am getting too old for this shit. Bye.
No, she did not come out with the Pointer Sisters. She did not come out with the Pointer Sisters. Oh my God. well, well, well. She's doing the neutron dance. No, she did not. Oh, that was beautiful. That was wonderful. But I didn't even forgot where I was. Shout out to Tanya. Tanya, Hammer Nation. Go follow her. She does a wonderful job. Yeah, it's all up at Trump's nuts. All right, what's this? What's this one? And we'll have to call it a night.
Rally disguised as a congressional hearing. It might be uncomfortable for some people on this committee to hear about the true history of America, and I hate that for the facts are facts. And it's a fact that there is a violent, exclusionary, discriminatory, sexist, and racist part of American history, where our indigenous populations were forced from their land, where thousands of Black people were unjustly lynched, where Black people were denied the right to vote, and they still trying to do it today, where women were excluded from schools, workplaces, and public life, where girls were murdered by the KKK at the 16th Street Baptist Church. And a lot of this wasn't that long ago. In fact, 3 of those little girls would be 77 and 1 would be 74. More than 40 members of Congress serving right now would be older than them. Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to desegregate an all-white school, is only 71 years old. More than 100 members of Congress serving right now are older than her. So attacks on the Smithsonian or any other institution that's willing to tell the true history of is not only an attempt to rewrite history, it's an attempt to erase history. Republicans are ban books, penalize schools, universities, attack museums. If states continue to change curriculum, where do Americans go to learn about the complicated, sometimes racist and violent parts of American history?
Thank you for the question. I think they will have to keep going to the same institutions, and we have to preserve what we are doing in those institutions. They have to keep going to public schools. They have to keep going to their public libraries. They have to keep going to the great Smithsonian. Look, the purpose of history is to enlighten us, inspire us, trouble us, bother us, sometimes angry. It's hard to believe that a youngster could go through the Museum of American History out at least inspired with the single most important thing, a sense of the past, a sense of history. Americans have to keep going to those places they trust. We have to keep those institutions trustworthy.
That's, I have some pushback on that, but I'm gonna keep that thing to myself. Is this? We have another guest coming up abroad. This is We-On-Loc Nation. Who's there?
This is your auntie. That's who.
Hi, Auntie, how you doing? You gonna you here to chop my liver out?
No. So you know if I'm up here, it must be a good reason.
Yep, I know. So go ahead, fire away.
Yeah. You know, a lot of us understand what you're saying. And it's not that we so much disagree. I understand your frustration, but what I will not do, I will not put something out in the universe like there will never be a black president. There will never thought there'd ever be a black president. Whether he did what you wanted him to do, which I'm still a year later trying to find out what exactly did Obama not do that you wanted him to do? What did you want him to do that he didn't do?
Take care of take care of his communities and the black families that were there.
No, wait a minute. Hold your head up and speak up. I can't hear black people. Because see, there are those people who like Obama. Them.
Well,
that's the thing with
you keep
some of us. We can speak for everything, and we cannot. I don't speak.
Wait, Lisa, you keep cutting in and out. Could you start over? Because you keep cutting in and out.
I'm going in and out.
Yeah.
I'm not moving.
What? No, your audio it keeps cutting in and out.
What do I need?
But no, you're fine. You're fine. Well, let me put it this way. We are owed reparations, are we not?
Yes.
Okay. So why is it that he is against reparations? I honestly, I don't know if you read his book or not. I read enough to say, oh, okay, that seals it for me. But again, I voted for this man not once but twice, and each and every single time he folded up like a cheap tent when it came to certain white people. But his wife was a bit more worthier than he was. But they stood like Lou. But that doesn't negate her doings either. Because I have a particular problem with the Obamas, just like I have a particular problem with the Clintons. You forget I was a Democrat for a very, very long time until I seen some things and witnessed some things, and it wasn't too much, but it was more than enough to say, let me just step away for a bit. And I would never go on that particular side. I would never go on that particular side that's called the Republicans, because the Republicans are just as worse as Democrats. So I declare my independency until I find that worthy person who would do right by not just the people, but for our people. And I literally found Jasmine to be that one. Even though, like I said, the lesser evil with her is the LGBTQ community, and she supports them. And I don't support none of that. But I already told you. I've told you too many times before my main problems, and I can play clips for days. She probably would. I play clips for days about it. As a matter of fact, I could play a couple of clips right now, and I can tell you that Obama is just he's no different. He is no freaking different. I don't know where she went, but
Thank you so much. In fact, that takes me to Dr. Hardick. You and the Smithsonian of sowing division in this country. However, before the White House deleted it, Departments of Justice and Homeland Security found the big is violent premises. So I have questions for you. First, to the best of your knowledge, has the museum ever been linked to any violent act that has occurred in the United States or against the U.S. government?
Thank you, ma'am. Not to the best of my knowledge.
I don't think many of these white supremacists can even read, but to the best of your knowledge, can you identify a single art museum that would divide the country?
To the best of my knowledge, ma'am, no. I hope that they unite the country through a shared understanding of our past.
Do you think, or do you ask the political affiliation of any of your employees before you hire them?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It's against the Hatch Act of 1939.
Glad that you know the law, but nevertheless, do you ask if they've donated to political campaigns?
Absolutely.
We need briefing in this building, but. Or do you ask the political affiliation of any of your employees before you hire them? Do you ask employees?
What's wrong with your? Where are you?
What's wrong with your? Where are you?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
you got a bad.
You got a bad echo.
You got another.
You got another. Cut off looking at YouTube.
Is it gone?
Hello, mic check. Now.
Hello, mic check.
No, it's still there.
Now. No, it's still there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Because you had YouTube going on. You had to cut that off. Hello. Now you're cutting off. Are you on mute? This woman, I got kicked off and I come back. He created universal. Okay, he created universal health care. Good for him. What did he systematically do for black people? This is the reason. This is the reason why we wanted to have town hall meetings with him, but he declined. You can't. You just simply can't just. I learned this during the time where I was totally blind, but now I see. You can't just pick any old black person and think that he is going to do something with the world. Drop the link again. Okay. Drop the link again. It, I don't know if no, she needs to cut on her mic. But I'm there for more excuses. I'm there for more excuses. 90 not well, let me see. I got let's see. Now I've found something there. He saved countless black jobs. Where is our reparations? No, he didn't do what? Yeah, you slowed it. Fair Sentencing Act. I don't know what that is. What does it have to what does this have to do with the grocery stores? Anybody can have a job. Where are the grocery stores? Where are our supermarkets? Where are our hospitals? Where are our buses? We used to have a fleet of buses. We had thousands and thousands of buses. We had thousands and thousands of radio stations, black radio stations. If the man didn't want to put, if the man didn't even want to put up for task, that put it. I said that all wrong. If the man didn't want to do things to task, then why put yourself in a position of power? He created jobs, but did he put people in positions of wealth in this country? That's what you're missing. Did he put people in positions to have the white people do it all the freaking time, Barb? Or I'm sorry, Lisa. White people do it all the freaking time. Is put other whites in position, put other whites in position to be competitive, to have wealth in this country. As a matter of fact, let me unshare this. Let me unshare this. Let me see. Let me unshare this and let me share this. Let me share a little bit with you what I know to be true and factual.
Off the hook. I was at historically black college not too long ago, and I saw two cross-dressed brothers walk into the room where I was. They diagnosed your child with the disorder. Nobody ran a CAT scan or an MRI. It's about pimping because they make $32 billion a year off these black children who are being given these drugs. $32 billion a year. And nobody's even telling you about the side effects. Nobody's telling you that the drug messes with your son's ability to produce healthy semen in his testicles. Did anybody tell you that? And that's coming straight from the Food and Drug Administration. But wait a minute, you can't rely on the Food and Drug Administration to approve your medicine. Why? Because most of the high-ranking staff in the FDA have stock invested in the drug companies, most of which publicly trade on Wall Street. That we just deal with God, we don't deal with nothing else. That Mike and George Bush and every other white man who's come across as being God Almighty. So when you think when your child come home, will be exterminated. But the interesting thing about not a movie on the Garvey movie, why you think you never see the world? Images for diversity in sexual behavior. You're quick, the Native Americans. I'm friends of mine who had a little bit of this and a little bit in the man's face. Okay? And that's why people, but you want to be something else. But anyway, here's the issue with Obama. And this is the one piece that you got to grab your mind around. And I don't know why I keep seeing Barack Obama's face on posters with Dr. King and Malcolm X, and most disrespectfully, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who would probably spit in the man's face. Okay? And that's why people who do art, if we got any artists in here, you got to be a conscious artist. Okay? You got to stop making pictures that are big lies. Okay? Garvey facing Obama, that's a lie. King on the shirt with Obama, that's a lie. Why is it a lie? Because Dr. King was for reparations, read his speeches, Obama is against it. Dr. King is for civil rights and affirmative action, Obama is against it. Not only is Obama against that, he also said that he's not even interested in an apology for slavery. Barack Obama, your president. But guess what? It's our fault. Because everybody who voted for President Obama, we are the only group 40 million strong and shrinking, 40 million strong who did not meet with the man before you pledged your vote. You got a bad habit of doing that. You want to know why the Hispanics got a Supreme Court justice out of Obama? Because they met with him first. You know why the homosexuals are getting everything that they want? Because they met with him first. The police met with him first. The unions met with him first. You didn't meet with him. You said his father was African. I said, well, he never knew him, but we don't care. He's half black. Let's vote. Somebody manipulated your consciousness and you ran out and voted for the man. And I'm not saying you did anything wrong because you know you don't choose the president any damn way.
Oh, that doesn't even scratch the surface. That don't even scratch the surface. And all I'm saying is it's been 16 years, 16, 17 years. It's been roughly 17 years. He's been in office for 8 years. He's been in office for 8 years. He did his thing, blah, 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 blah. But mind you, this is the reason why Trump is not being held to a higher standard. This is the reason why. And you can't hold any other president to a higher standard. You know why? Because you didn't hold the last president to a higher standard. That's the point. He can get anything. This man could get anything he wants, and nobody checked him on it. The Supreme Court didn't check him on it. Nobody checked him on it. Nobody checked him all the money that he wanted to produce for himself. But we literally looked at him and we literally looked at this white man, and we were saying that he's not supposed to do this. But wait a minute, hold on. And this is the reason why people keep saying what they're saying. It's like, well, wait a minute. Well, what about this? What about this person? What about that person? What about Sleepy Joe? What about Obama? What about Clinton? They do this whataboutism. You're thinking just because he wasn't the only black president, but he was the president that we know in our lifetime, that we seen in our lifetime. There have been plenty of black presidents, but he's the first face that we know in our lifetime, that we have seen. Some of us were born in the 60s. Some of us were born in the 70s. Some of us were born I'm an 80s baby. Some of us were born in the 80s. Who is that? Hello.
Got me now?
Yeah, I got you. Now you.
Okay, well, that's what's going on. It kicked me out twice. It just cut off. I don't. Let me say this. Nobody, Umar, you, and nobody else speaks for me.
Okay.
Each individual person has their own right to feel however they want to about whatever, to do whatever. I don't understand why everybody thinks Obama's supposed to be a god. Everybody expected Obama to come in office and fix every single thing that was wrong out of hundreds and hundreds of years. People have forgotten the mess that Obama came into. Maybe you don't remember the war, 9/11, and the mess George W. Bush left Obama with. But it wasn't that mess when he left office. And last I checked, Black people were living in this country all that time. Black people were eating, Black people were working, Black people were buying homes, Black people were buying banks. You had Black people going to school to be pilots. You had all these things going on. And, there are so many opportunities out there. But people don't know that if they're not looking for them. It is so easy to criticize and down somebody. Anybody can do that. How about some real solutions? How about I'm not sitting up wasting and worrying my life away on some reparations. I'm not. It's irrelevant to me. I am a Black woman. I don't agree there. And waste my time worrying about some reparations in my lifetime, because while I'm doing that, I could be doing something else, like going to school, working, buying a home that has a land on it. Nobody owns anything. I know quite a few people. Everybody I know actually owns their home and their land. But Nobody owns anything. People that are so disgruntled with everything and Obama, you don't have to be here. All you got to do is buy a ticket and be gone. You can't expect everyone to feel like you do and want what you want. Everyone does not. Everyone does not agree with you. Actually, the majority of the country like Obama. The most popular president in the history. I wonder how that can be. He's such a terrible person. He did so much to hurt Black people. But nobody sits up and says, you know what? The man did a good job seeing what he had to come into. No, it's easier to talk about he didn't do this and he didn't do that. Oh, he saved all three of the car industries. I guess you're saying no Black people work there. Your mother worked there, didn't she? Did she work for one of the car companies?
General Motors for 30 years.
Plenty Black people work at these for them. When he saved all those jobs, including Black jobs, that didn't affect the Black community.
You're talking political.
It up and we stay so divided. The people who do step out on center stage, all they get is criticism and criticism from their own. It's bad enough that the other side does it. We listen at Trump, his name all the time. Why? Why does everybody holler Obama? What about these other presidents and what they didn't do and what they did? But we as Black people, the first thing we want to do when our draws get twisted is Obama. Obama didn't do this and Obama didn't do that.
You ever wonder why?
How about talking about what he did do for a change?
Which is what?
Because it's easy.
Lisa, everything is political.
Because they target him. After all, he's the only Black president there's ever been. He's the only Black president that has ever held office. So he's a target, obviously. There's no other Black president for anybody to blame. You can't expect one person to fix every single thing. Like I said, hundreds and hundreds of years, you expect one man to come in, control the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court and fix every single problem there is that affects the Black community. Some Black people don't want to change. Some Black people don't even want to work. There are so many opportunities out there, and they're being wasted. The scholarships, the loans that are just for Black people. There is so much out there. And it is so sad that some of us, we sound just like Donald Trump.
No,
Obama didn't do this. Why you always talking about Obama then? He's sure, boy, for him not to have done nothing. He sure is.
So because we don't praise a Negro that don't even talk about his father much, but likes to talk about his mother, his mother.
I don't care. That's irrelevant.
Okay, again, going back to my first person, going back to my first question. Where's our 40 acres in the mule? Every single white president likes to praise their own, but we don't like to praise our own. Why? this is the reason why politics, to me, politics
Some of us
alone,
so
politics alone, politics alone only reminds you of what could happen.
what do
But
you mean?
relatively, what could happen, we could have everything we want in this country. This is like when the immigrants come in this country and expect, you know, opportunity, a land of gold. It's all bullshit. Politics is bullshit. He's full of shit. Every other president that came before him was full of shit. And we all know this to be true because all it is just a little bit of this and a little bit of faith to keep you interested. A little bit. Why do you think Ronald Reagan got the prints of black people being in his face at that particular time? Because he's nothing but a fucking liar. And Obama's more different. So Obama's more different from everybody else. Ah, he didn't do nothing for me. And I gave
Well,
him
that's you.
that first year. No. I gave him that first year. I gave him
Hey,
that
but
first
you
year.
he did something for me, and he did something for all the people I know.
Well, that sounds gravy.
Told you a little while ago. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. Everybody doesn't want what you want. Everybody does not see things like you see them.
To
And
be
to
free, to be
people
prosperous.
like somebody has elected them as the black spokesman. You're not. Doesn't want the same things. We are individuals. Some people have different
To be
desires.
free, to be prosperous. We're not supposed to be
We're not
free, and
supposed
we're
to be
not supposed to be
free. We're
prosperous
not supposed to
like our
prosper
like
like
our
our
white
our white
counterparts, and you
parts, and you got. What you say now?
you're on YouTube
You're on
now.
YouTube. Huh?
Click
Click
X out,
X
X
out.
out YouTube.
Go out.
Yeah, X out
X
YouTube
out YouTube.
because you're still on
Because you're still
YouTube.
on YouTube.
Right? You
Right?
good?
You good?
You're still there.
You're still there. You can't
on YouTube
on YouTube
um not
not
StreamYard,
string
but
yard
because you're gonna get
because
that
you're gonna
error.
get that.
But I'm
But
just
I mean,
hold on,
hold on, let me shoot. Buddy,
Damn, how do
damn, how do
you
you hear it?
just go out and come back in. Oh, yeah, just go out and come back in because you can't be on here and on YouTube at the same time. Let me see if I can do that. Sir, camera, microphone is on default. So, okay. Let me know when let me know when you're back up. Have a good night, Tanya. Have a good night. Mm-mm-mm. You just have a issue. Wait, are you there? I can hear you.
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, it's just now cutting on. So it hasn't even asked me yet to join. But anyway, you can hear me good? Lock.
I'm putting myself on mute because
I'm putting myself on mute.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Can you see me?
No.
I can't. You can't see me?
No.
Yeah, we got to get you a laptop.
You determined to get me to get
Gotta get you a laptop.
home from
So
work. You got
okay, you gotta get rid. Let me see. Let me get rid of one of these. Let me get rid of one of yous. All right, go ahead. Talk away.
okay.
Now
Um,
that's much better.
all I is let
Unless
blame.
you got double twins.
Huh?
Unless you got twins. I like to get to know your twin.
No, I don't. I guess, but it's been repeating.
You know what? Mars, get your butt up here. Let's make it interesting.
Up here.
Don't all come in all at once.
Okay, so on the screen, there are your there's some here. And,
Are
okay, it's
you
finished. Okay, I'm back.
okay? Are you
Okay,
underwater? All right.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm to this
Tic tac toe. 1, 2, 3. ABC.
bomb of that is wrong.
You're. I don't.
Every
Your
community
mic is muffled. You're all over the place. I don't know what
not
you're
gonna happen.
doing. I don't know what you're doing. Are you? Are you? Where are you at? Are you on your left? What device do you have?
On with my phone to my tablet, which has on volume cut.
Just pick one device and stick with it. I would prefer your.
This is
I would
the other night.
because you keep going it and going it. Out of all this and nah, this ain't breaking two. Electric Boogaloo. This ain't breaking two. Pick one device and stick with it. Yeah, okay, go out and come back. Yeah, just go out, come back. All right. While she's doing all that, getting all straightened out, Jesus, she was doing the electric boogaloo. She was. I'm like, what? I'm like, I can't hear that. That just looks bad. That's bad. That is very, very bad. Now, this I don't know how to get rid of. Remove guest. Oh, remove guests. Let me see. Remove guests. All right. Again, going back to Obama, which this I'm not going to turn this entire live stream into the Obama. I want to try out a different device. Okay, I'm not going to turn this whole thing into a whole Obama thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to say is he had he had 8 years of putting us back on the map, but people believed in him. People say, well, he doesn't have to do anything for me. I mean, he can ignore me. He can ignore police brutality and all this other stuff, and he's still my man's. So it is what it is. It is what it is at that point. But let me well, did I play the whole thing with did I all play the whole thing with Jasmine here? Nope. Let me go back to Jasmine real fast. Probably end up deleting this thing because the audio's so bad.
And to steady growth towards a middle-class utopia embodying racial harmony, but unfortunately, this is a fantasy of self-deception and comfortable vanity. I want to go back real quick, though, Dr. Blight, because you talked about the World Cup. The World Cup that captured the imaginations of the entire world when they saw all of these people of color that was playing for all these teams. And ultimately, if you recall, the last two teams, it was Argentina and Spain. And it seemed like the vast majority of the world was rooting for Argentina, or actually against Argentina, right? And why was that? Just give me an explanation if you could guess. If you'll just let them finish the answer.
Spain had the best team. Maybe that's why they were rooting for them.
No, but I get it. I certainly get the but again, people do not care. People do not care that of many years of this country being diverse with so many ethnicities, from people from Africa, people from Venezuela, people from Pakistan, people from China, people from Brazil, all these particular people from these particular places. And even though whites cover 60% or 58% of the country, you still get these racist ass white people to literally say that there are too many of these immigrants here illegally. It's like, how do you get from legal to illegal, or legal to illegal to legal? Was it illegal? Was it illegal when Biden did it? It was like, I'm not getting it. Maybe he wanted just white America, but then again, that's a lie, because that day when he had the LGBTQ on his front lawn, there was a whole bunch of immigrants on that front lawn gyrating. But I don't know. This whole thing is. I said it before and I'll say it again. This whole thing is corrupt from the bottom to the top, and being as it may, I know the reason why she's not going to run. I know the reason why she's not going to run. But you're back, so hopefully you have one device and not several. You there?
Yes.
Well, go ahead, Lisa. Dan, this is your show.
I was just listening to you. I was always on one device. I just have other devices around me.
I think that.
One device, the one that I normally use, it is one that's blocked. It says I've blocked the mic and the camera. So each time I try to use that one, it kicks me out and keeps saying reload.
No.
I can't take the, I have to go in to the website and find out how to remove
Okay.
the block. You have to select the camera. Okay, I'm gone again. I'm back now.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. All right.
It keeps going out. You can hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Go ahead.
Okay. All I'm saying, let's not blame one person for the multitude of problems we have in the Black community. Logically, you cannot expect one person to fix all the problems in this country, especially all the problems in the Black community. It's just not logical. Of course, I don't care who you are. You're going to have people that are pleased with you. You're going to have people that are dissatisfied with you. It is human nature that you cannot please everyone. If you set out to please everyone, you're going to fail every single time. And the reason really is because we are individuals. We all don't have the same wants, desires. We all don't see things or comprehend things the same way. We have different needs. There are some people that don't want anything. There are some people that are happy doing their drugs, sleeping in tents. They could care less about Obama, Biden, Trump, Clinton, or anybody else. We have a country that is changing. And that is what the Republicans are struggling with. That's why they're trying to make it great again, but it'll never be what they want it to be again. And it's just that simple. What I really do not understand is that everybody, when they want to sling some mud or some dirt, here comes Obama. So I ask myself, why is it that every time somebody wants to say something derogatory or sling some mud, they use Obama? They don't use Clinton. They don't use Bush. They don't use Reagan. They don't sit up and do anything except Obama. Of course you would. He's the only Black president in the history of the country. So of course people are going to hold him accountable for every single thing that whatever individual or group may feel that he didn't do that they wanted him to do. That's why I always ask you, what is it you wanted him to do? When you say we don't own anything, there are Black people that do own. I know Black business owners. I know Black homeowners. I know Black people that own dealerships. There are Black female pilots, Black banks. But you tell me, if you're going to drive 35 miles to bank at a bank that's Black, will you? Or 50 miles. Are you going to do that to support your Black bank or your Black grocery store? Because we have them here. We have an all-Black farm. Are you going to drive the 100 miles to go to that farm and that grocery store at that farm?
Lisa, you are in a state where it's 98% Black people. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. I live in a city where a diverse of people come here and visit here constantly every single day. But let me get U.S. Freedom in here. U.S. Freedom is
U.S. freedmanism, and thanks for having me up. I'll be
bruh.
brief. The Latinos voted against Jasmine Crockett, and this is why Jasmine Crockett lost. So I think that Black Democrats have to take into.
I warned him not to come up here.
Hmm?
You know who that is, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember now. I was sitting here saying, wait a minute,
What the?
U.S. freedom. I was hoping it wasn't the same person.
It was the same person, but freedomism. Okay,
He
okay.
must troll you.
I'm thinking it was a white guy at first,
Uh-huh.
but but but
No, I think it's a black guy.
but he starts speaking, and I'm like, okay, you
Yeah,
really not.
he's the same one that talks about he calls ICE on people.
Yeah, he calls ICE on illegal immigrants. He calls
Yeah,
ICE on.
and I had words with him because we were all three requesting to come. We were
Just this is just
had to be disrespectful. Well,
the
let
reason
us
why
talk. Like what I was saying.
I could give two shits less of why she lost. The reason why let's talk about the reasons why she's going to be
He lost
beaten
one
because of
part of
people
it.
like you.
Talk about
Just make
fair.
my
She didn't get a fair shake, and that's
no,
just what they didn't want her to win. Otherwise, why would one judge say we're going to have the polls open 2 more hours instead of closing at 7 p.m.? We're going to close at 9 p.m. Oh, what did Mr. Republican do? He ran his butt right to the Texas Supreme Court and got them to overrule the judge who extended the voting time 2 hours. Why? He wasn't even running. It wasn't even a Republican election. So what was it to him? But see, sometimes people want the weaker candidate, the one they know they can beat. Over a
they
million more
spent
voters came out and voted in this election with Jasmine. A million. Over a million. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of power.
they spent money.
Yeah, true.
They literally spent money to make sure she doesn't win.
Well,
Literally
whole
money.
time, I've
You
been
know what?
doing
I honestly wish I could figure out to. Okay, I got you, bruh. I got you, bruh.
back.
Because you're about to piss me off. I got you, my nigga. I got you, my nigga.
I'm scared to turn. I'm scared to try to turn on and look at the chat. I might get kicked out. Studio might throw me out.
No, no. You're fine. You're fine.
Well, like you said, Jim Jordan with his crooked ass, and
Who
because
is
he chairs several committees. If I'm not mistaken, he's on. I know he's on oversight committee, which is what we just watched, and I'm thinking he's over the judiciary because she's on two committees, and I know they're just sitting up saying, "Boy, oh boy, oh boy, it'll be over in a minute." You know what I find ironic?
what?
We have Jasmine, right? That
Mm-hmm.
not only is she speaking out, she comes with receipts. It's one thing to say things or make accusation and have no factual proof, but she has the factual proof. That is what they don't like, is that she can back up what she says about whomever she says it to.
Mm-hmm.
Al Green. He lost his election too.
Yeah, I know.
Another black person that speaks out. Massey, the white Republican that wrote the bill for the victims with the Epstein, was up for re-election, lost. Find all these three things coincidental, don't you?
Yes.
Ironically, the two black people that are well known for calling Trump out on his crap miraculously lost their elections.
What's going to happen in this election?
This election here,
This election here.
Democrats are going to win the election, but Republicans, Trump has already planted the seed and start watering it. That's why he keeps saying that they're going to cheat. They're going to steal the election. What he's doing, he's planting a seed of doubt. And Trump preys on people that tend not to think for themselves and evaluate things for themselves. Because the first thing that I would ask myself, why is this man obsessed with an election that was 6 years ago that has been proven he lost? And for those who would say he didn't lose, well, if he didn't lose, why did he call Ratzenberger, the Secretary of State in Georgia, and asked him for over 7,000 votes? If he won, I'm just saying. A winning hand does not need to ask for more votes, someone to find them more votes. If you actually believe you win, and you did win, you don't have a need.
But you won in a landslide.
Well, that's just like Kamala Harris. He did not landslide her. Don't you notice you rarely hear them talk about the figures with the election, her versus him?
Well,
it was like 1,000 votes. 1,000. A little over 1,000. 1,000 is something. But it's a reason why you don't hear that, because it does not fit the narrative. No different than, why is Trump so focused on 2020 and he's already the president in 2026? Well, I mean, for what reason? Why did he send the intelligence director to Georgia, Gabby Gifford, who is no longer in that position? She recently supposedly left to care for her husband that had some type of illness. Why is it that Todd Blanche was ever allowed any position in this administration whatsoever? And he was Donald Trump's private attorney. Actually, Congress just had him up there last week and the week before and got him to admit he is Trump's attorney. So how is it, if you say he's currently his attorney or he previously was, why is there not a conflict of interest, and why is there nothing being done? Why is it that there is a code of ethics for the Supreme Court, but do you know there is no one to enforce it? There is no board. There is not a group to evaluate the ethics of the Supreme Court. On paper it is there, but there is no one to enforce these rules and investigate people. Clarence Thomas has received over $1 million in gifts over a period of time. His nephew, a nice rich man, paid his tuition to college. His nephew now. But Jasmine and all those representatives, they're not allowed to gift over $50. 50. But yet Clarence Thomas was over in Jamaica up in a hotel that cost $2,000 a night.
What the hell is he doing in Jamaica?
Why wouldn't it be a conflict of interest if I'm Clarence Thomas? You have paid tuition for my nephew, and your son has a case that's going to come before the Supreme Court, because that's the type of stuff they do.
And all I know is this whole system is corrupt, and we all know. And
Yes,
people are turning blinders on.
is that this corruption that's going on now is blatantly being done in our faces. Normally they kind of, like Joe Biden's son, they kind of sneak it around. They don't do it like Donald Trump is doing it. Don't you know that plane that Qatar gave him, he's getting ready to take taxpayer money and have that plane president proof. So everything the Air Force One is security wise, that's what Trump wants to turn that plane into. And when he leaves office, that plane goes with him as his own personal private plane.
Which we all knew that.
Yeah. Well,
everything he touches turns to shit, but
even if they impeach him, we'll never see Trump go to prison. Never. And it's just that simple. It'll never happen. He will tie stuff in court. I mean, he's almost dead anyway. He's 80. I mean,
Yeah, but you had a 73-year-old man already broke. It was like, how did he die and Trump's still here? Not that I would wish death on anyone, but I treat him like Jerry Jones. It's like, y'all got to go.
Well, I want Todd Blanche, and he didn't answer the question because it was put to him several times with Congress. Let me see if I still have it, and I'll send it to you. They wanted Blanche to explain to them, because at that time, Todd Blanche was Donald Trump's private attorney. And he didn't see Ghislaine Maxwell. And the next day is when she was transferred to the cushy place she's in now. The federal prison she's in now, she wouldn't even qualify to be there because she has federal sex trafficking charges. She doesn't qualify to be there. And then she has this special diet. She has puppy time. She has exercise time. I'm like, she's better than me.
So she has privileges.
Yes, she does. And they ask.
You don't see that as an issue.
Well, the thing is, Congress can't seem to get to the bottom of who did the transfer. Now, you and I both know there has to be a paper trail. Somebody signed the paper approving her transfer. Somebody.
Oh, you're getting it. You get it.
Oh, I always look. I get a lot of things. I told you I don't trust any politician fully, including Obama. don't trust any
Well, why
politician.
you giving me flack about Obama then?
I give you flack about Obama because you blame Obama for everything that is wrong with the black community in his 8 years, and he's not responsible for everything. He did make.
Is it me that does it, or is it everyone else? And we're talking about in the millions, by the way.
Say it again.
As I said, is it just me, or is it everyone else that blames him? I mean, but that's the thing that you're supposed to. You're supposed to hold people like that accountable.
It is, far as I'm concerned, it is all the people who say Obama did nothing for the black community. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Anyone who says he did nothing, first of all, the Fair Sentencing Act, do you know how many black people that helped? Do you understand what that is? Let me
No,
break it
you're gonna tell me the political way.
for you. Black men were getting life sentences for selling crack, while you had these white men getting caught with kilos of pure powder cocaine. So what did Obama do? Fair Sentencing Act. He created it. It has been signed into law. We're not having that anymore. You're not going to be sitting up letting these people who have a pure form of cocaine do a few years for kilos. And here you have somebody with a couple rocks, you're giving them life sentence. No, we're not doing that. So he created the Fair Sentencing Act.
Right
When
after Bill Clinton wanted to pop
the
black
nutrition in our food for our children. That was Michelle Obama's product. It wasn't his. That was her thing with the vegetables and the juices instead of all the sugary drinks. And you have, pictures of her with children planting gardens and her working with gardens. And you'll even hear Obama on his behind about that healthy eating as well. All I'm saying is that.
Explain to me why Bobby Rush beat him the first time around.
I can't explain to you why he beat him the first time around. I'll give you an example. I'll give you one, a touche. John Ossoff in Georgia. The first time he ran, he lost. He ran for the House of Representatives. The next time he ran for the state Senate, he was elected. He's the senior senator. And right now, there's talks of him running for president. He's popping it. He just signed a new law in. They were sitting up. This is something I didn't know. He wrote a law that is a bill that has been signed into law. People were sex trafficking foster kids. Haven't heard about that, have you? Nobody's talking about that though.
I haven't heard about anybody you just introduced to me. Again, with all these names, on the Republic, is he a Republican or Democrat?
He's Democrat.
Okay, you got people who can't keep their hands off of women, and you got the other side who can't stop being a woman. So what is that?
The thing is, how can you have a child in foster care and they get sex trafficked and nobody knows about it? Where's the child at? The child, you know what I'm saying? If I have a child and it's a foster child and it disappears, somebody should notice that.
Again, Lisa.
Apparently, there was an investigation, and
Again, Lisa, it's about money.
Yes, it's about the money. It's about money and power because the money buys the power. Why do you think Donald Trump looks out for the 1%? Why do you think Donald Trump is protecting his buddies and himself with the Epstein?
You know what Donald Trump has been mostly taught? He's been taught mostly by his father. Never let anyone that is outside of your race outsmart you. Yet alone, you have to know what business is. That's why he took a class in economics. But he didn't even. But I don't know if he graduated. He didn't even graduate top of his class. Anyone like that who studies economics and graduates top of it would graduate top of your class because ultimately you know what to do. But he wasn't even on the dean's list.
Well, you do know that he was some kind of screw up because they sent him to military school to straighten him out. Sometimes you'll hear him bring that up to insinuate he served the country. He did not. He was not at West Point. He was sent there because he was misbehaved. And his dad sent him there to straighten him out. And I tell you, if we could find the information, it has something to do with some women because he's notoriously, and you find these rich white kids that feel like they can violate any woman at any given time because they're rich, their family's rich and powerful, and they'll just buy some judge off or some congressman or senator or chief of police or whomever.
So, what lesson is to be learned of this very topic? Is that if Jasmine can't even hold these people accountable, what makes you think it's going to be even any different in any other position other than presidency? Because in presidency, if I want you gone, you're gone. But yet I know I had to go through the House first, and then I had to go to the Senate, and hopefully it passes.
Well, not necessarily. You could go through the various committees. For instance, there is a poverty committee where you don't have to be a commissioner, a congressman, that you can go to and testify before this committee. I'll say this since I'm on YouTube, and we'll talk about it in private. But that's where I was headed, to the Oversight, Judiciary, and Poverty Committee. You don't have to go through it straight through the House. You can go to the individual committees. When you see these hearings, these public hearings, they're one of the best things that can be because the American people get to hear the answers from the people who are responsible. You get to sit up and see what representative is asking what representative is shielding what person. For instance, Jim Jordan. He's a Trumper.
Jim Jordan is a Trump.
You just saw him. He was the one in the committee with Jasmine speaking.
Yeah, I know.
Jim Jordan out of Ohio. So anyway, you can reach out to the various committees and people actually go and testify before the committee, such as the 2 Black women in Georgia. It was a mother and daughter that worked at one of the election sites. And Giuliani came out publicly and said they were monkeying around with the ballots and said their names. They couldn't even leave out their house. They went and testified before Congress. They sued Giuliani. They won millions and millions and millions of dollars. Refused to pay. Then they were supposed to liquidate assets of his to pay them. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear anything else. Heard nothing else. The same way Trump did Jeannie Carroll, he just paid her what? Week before last.
You know, there's some real sick people out there in the world. There's real sick people. Eugene Carroll, she was drunk, she was this, she was that. What was the worst thing that I've heard some white person say? Something about she used him to get some money out the deal. It's like, this is not the year. This isn't the year. You can't play this year with what happened 25, 30 years ago.
See, that's what I don't understand. You know,
The
when
man
I saw
his fingers, and
I'm like,
you know,
expecting
did
some
nasty things with his fingers to her.
go.
But we don't like to hold people like that accountable, because again, it's selective
Memory.
amnesia, selective.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I was expecting some young beauty. Then I see her, and I'm sitting here, and I'm sorry. I am a woman. I was born a woman. I'll always be a woman. I cannot see a man violating me and me waiting years and years and years and years. Excuse me, on a civil suit. The statute of limitations is 2 years. That's federal law. That means that's across the board. It's not state law. That's federal law. So that is every single state in this country. So how is it she was able to sue him, and it had been over 2 years, and not only sue him, win, and be forced to pay her all that money?
And then years later, going to
Like
sue her
huh?
and years later trying to sue her for money that she sued him with, just like he tried to get back at.
They tried to get. Yes, she lied. Recently, they filed a case against her stating that she lied, I believe, in her deposition. Because when you do a deposition, it's just like, testifying in court. You swear to tell the truth. And that's what, like, Clinton and his wife, they did a deposition before they went before Congress, because the Republicans were about to issue a warrant for the Clintons because they were refusing to come and testify. I mean, tell me why Epstein was at the White House 17 times when Bill Clinton was in office. 17. He's on the flight logs 17 times.
Well, they need to bring out the rest of these files, and but I know in my lifetime and these victims in their lifetime, they're not going to receive it. They're not going to receive the justice that they need.
No, they're not. And the fact that Todd Blanche, because Pam Bundy has thrown him under the bus and said that it was his responsibility. He's the one who released the names of the ladies. which I don't understand how a mistake like that can happen. You protect the criminals, but you expose the victims. There was one lady that testified about last month, and the saddest thing about it was Epstein had been found guilty of some type of sexual charge, and they put him under house arrest for 3 years. She said for that whole 3 years he was raping her every day. The whole time he was on house arrest, he was raping her every day. She just testified in front of Congress because she was one of the ones that wanted to stay anonymous. And she said she woke up one morning with her name and everything, all of it, all, everywhere, newspapers and everywhere. But why was he allowed to be under house arrest? Me and you talked about it. And I was telling you, I vaguely remember that. Just like I remember the senator they caught in the bathroom with a young boy. I never heard any more about that.
Oh, okay, Lisa. This is getting kind of disgusting. So I get the gesture of it. I really do. Yeah, these motherfuckers is sick.
I say this.
Let's just say these people are sick. These people are fucking sick.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I mean, I'll leave it there. I'm gonna leave it at that. Good luck this coming November. Good luck, and hopefully everything turns blue by then. Because if not, we're gonna have to deal with more sick individuals.
I believe Democrats will win. Trump is going to try to do everything.
Everything. He's already getting people in his administration to threaten 31, which you cannot do.
Well, we're going to send armed guards, ICE, and stuff to polling places, and that's against the law. I can't see. Is Barb still here?
Nah, she left.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling good. I'm gonna go too. I wanted to tell you this. I must love you a lot.
I know.
I know you saw the message.
I did.
Yeah, well, when we
message you right back.
I'll chat with you a little bit when we get off, about 5 or 10 minutes. Once we get off here, and tell you what happened.
Okay. All right.
Huh?
All right, Lisa. I'm about to get off the but come back anytime and grill, and you can go ahead and put me on the grill yet once again.
Well,
I'm already charcoal as it is.
The thing about it is we can agree to disagree, and I think we as a race, if we can learn how to do, then we can go a long way.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Right.
I'll talk with you later, Lisa.
Okay, bye, dear.
Bye. And basically, that's it for me. That's it for We-On-Loc Nation channel. And don't forget to hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next video.